All right, here we are with another episode of the Slack Doctors. I am Dr. Chip.
I'm Dr. Bob.
I don't know if you heard about the competing musical performances yesterday. Somehow connected with a sporting event. Did you hear anything about that?
Yes, I did. And apparently the competition was being put on by TP USA, right?
Yes, that is true.
And I know Kid Rock was there, which is not exactly a good reason to attend. I know there's a bunch of country music artists there. Honestly, I'd be hard pressed to pick between those two musical acts, between Bad Bunny and Kid Rock. They're both bad for completely different sets of reasons.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. And anybody that equates themselves with either of those sides is part of the problem. Absolutely. And neither one of their, I wouldn't give a plug nickel to see either one of them.
Right? Did you watch any of the game or?
No, I can't. I don't have cable. I don't have any.
Well, you could have gone somewhere. I don't know.
That's true. I could have.
Super Bowl parties are still a thing.
I could care less about the stupid Super Bowl. I didn't even know who was in it until yesterday. And then yesterday I happened to see somebody that was, the Seahawks in New England. Okay.
Right.
But yeah, I have no idea who won. I don't care. The one thing I did want to give a shout out to Shinedown, because I don't know if you heard, but Kid Rock had this tour, like he was trying to put together. That's got a bunch of it's got him and the guy from the country guy from The Voice, and a bunch of right leaning artists. And Shinedown was on the bill and apparently bailed and said, like, look,
tell Dean I'm getting that mango. I'm getting that same scratchy thing. I'm gonna have to disconnect and reconnect my mic.
Yeah, I hear it. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, so we're back. Apparently, we had some technical gremlins. I think they've been loosed on us by Kid Rock and Bad Bunny specifically, just because we're bad-mouthing them. But
we're not the only ones bad-mouthing them. There's been I've seen a lot of YouTube today was pretty much full of reactions to both shows and, condemning one or praising one or condemning the other.
I mean, look, I understand that the nature of Kid Rock's songs are such that he can't spit out all the words, so some of it has to be pre-recorded. Okay, I get that, but is it me or does it seem like it's all pre-recorded? And
I don't know. I didn't listen to any of it.
Well, I mean, just from the clips I saw of it's, I've seen, they actually had some clips the other day from some other thing that wasn't the halftime show that was like a couple of days ago or something where he was doing the same. He was, doing his act. And I'm watching it and I'm like, there's definitely parts where seems like he's saying things into a microphone, and then parts where he's clearly not, and you can hear his voice, saying things that he couldn't possibly have enough breath to say all that stuff. It's got to be a call and return kind of thing. I get that. It's got to be pre-recorded, but there are other parts that I'm looking at it like, is he doing any of this at all? Or is it just a...
Right. And he really starting to look a lot like Dr. Phil now, too.
Yes.
Which is kind of odd.
And the jorts... The jorts look not so good. Yeah, I don't know.
Is there anything more American than jean shorts?
Yeah, I don't know, man. They seem almost like lederhosen or whatever to me, almost-ish. Right. I don't know.
Knickerbockers.
Right? Yeah. Who knows? And then what the hell was that Bad Bunny guy wearing? Like some kind of white thing with like shoulder pads?
Yeah, it was like a cross between a dress and pajamas or something. I don't know. It was very bizarre. Pads. I didn't watch, I only saw clips of that performance too. And the only clip I remember seeing was, it looked like almost like a celebration of the Pan American Games. It was like every flag of every country in the Americas, all, in a parade kind of thing or a conga line.
It did seem very politically motivated to be very accepted. The whole thing is just so ridiculously staged. And this is all, all this culture war bull crap is to, obviously distract us from the obvious stuff that's just become so blatantly obvious, which, we should start talking about the Epstein releases and the things that are going on there. Of course, one of the results of the Epstein files. All right, so they're going to make the Clintons testify. Do you know?
Right. They've just said that they're going to testify, but only if it's open court.
Right.
And they, yeah.
But what are they testifying about?
No idea.
Their relationship with Epstein, some kind of charge.
No idea. If Tim Dillon is to be believed, I don't know if you listened to his latest show,
right?
Or his newest, whatever one he just released, but he thinks that the Clintons are going to go full on scorched earth, and that it's all they have left is to do anything they can to implicate Trump and take him down with them. Even if, and he does a fairly decent impression of Bill, and he's
agree.
talking about, I ate the babies, I fed them to the sharks.
I agree. And I think he's almost 100% correct. I think there's only one other option, and I believe you know what it is. And we actually have some actually secret footage of the Clintons have already testified. They just did it earlier this morning, and so we have a bit of a secret film of early Clinton testimony about the Epstein Island files things.
Sir, is it true you were a crack cocaine dealer for 7 years?
I plead the fifth.
Sir, will you tell us about the cartels you dealt with in your time as a crack cocaine dealer?
No, but I can tell you that I plead the fifth.
Exactly how much money did you earn in your time as a crack cocaine dealer?
I said there are so many amendments in the Constitution of the United States of America. I can only choose one. I can only choose one. I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anything you say, fifth. Go ahead, ask me a question.
Did you?
Fifth. I have a secret document that I think you need to say.
You know, to go back briefly, though, talking about Super Bowl halftime shows, they didn't used to be, like, I actually watched a video about this the other day, and it was funny because watching this video explained an old Simpsons joke that I had never really understood. So there was this thing called Up With People, right? And it was like a combination of a movement or a political organization, kind of like a TPUSA kind of thing, but back in the day. Right. And the first Super Bowl that they did the halftime show was in 1971, which is attracted my interest, the year of my birth and all. So apparently before that, it was just marching bands. It wasn't like national acts. It wasn't like, it wasn't a big deal. Yeah. Because of them, actually, is when they brought in like proper lighting and sound and microphones and stuff, because marching bands don't really need microphones. And prior to that, they just used the harsh stadium lights. They didn't try to light the performers or anything like that. And the Simpsons joke that I never understood, right? So Up With People was the name of the group, and they sang very nice, charming, Ozzie and Harriet, American Apple Pie kind of stuff. And there's an episode of The Simpsons where he's making fun of a halftime show, and the name of the halftime show is Hooray for Everything.
And now, get set for our fabulous halftime show, featuring the well-groomed young go-getters of Hooray for Everything.
Oh, I love those kids. They've got such a great attitude.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hooray for Everything invites you to join them in a salute to the greatest hemisphere on Earth, the Western Hemisphere, the dancingest hemisphere of all.
And I had no idea what they were talking about until that.
Well, I just remember as a kid Up With People, and it was like, I don't know if you remember that. There was also a group that was actually a real musical group. I don't think Up With People was actually, I think they had songs and did music, but I don't think
they were more of an organization than a group, and they had people.
At the time, there was Aquarius with their song "Up, Up and Away" and "My Beautiful." It was a very, it was a very kind of left liberal wing kind of thing. Yeah, which makes me actually think about who did this halftime after that? I wonder. Because that was actually
remember. The video did,
because I watched it.
Yeah, the video mentioned it. I can't remember now, but that's when they started getting like headliners and actual.
Right. So I wonder,
popular music artists of the day.
Dolphins won it all too. So I wonder who did the halftime show of that. What if it's Jim Brown or some shit like that? Elvis or... Yeah, interesting. But anyway, back to the Epstein stuff. One of the messages I left on the voicemail that we'll get to later is like, one of the things.
No, we won't.
Oh, no kidding. Okay, maybe we won't. All right, I'll have to just try and remember what the messages were. Good point. That we're using a different platform. But one of the things I left a message was the same way that too many white people protest about racism. It's like you have to protest too much considering it has nothing to do with you. There's basically everybody protesting about the Epstein files and child rape and all this and that and the other thing. But the only group I really haven't heard protest much at all, any of these girls' parents. Have you heard of any of the parents of any of these women that went to Epstein's Island?
No, but with the exception of Virginia Giuffre, I don't know the names of anybody else that were
and I think her
supposed
parents
victims.
did actually come out and say something. But other than that, I think that was the only set of parents. You would think there would be hordes of just disgruntled parents going, I demand justice for my children, but I'm not seeing it. I mean,
you think there were a lot of NDAs that went around, or
maybe that's what I'm thinking is maybe they think they're complicit, and maybe they are complicit. But I mean, even if they're not complicit, there's got to be a level of guilt there, even if they.
Well, there's certainly a level of guilt, and like you said, even if they're not complicit, it's not like most people that get into that sort of situation come from perfectly well-functioning homes. But then again, he was also poaching from Mar-a-Lago and stuff. So you would think that a kid that had a summer job working there would kind of have their act together.
Well, they were poaching employees from Mar-a-Lago, and you know how that works. That's not, kids from Palm Beach don't work at, maybe, one or two, but not, not many of them. Those kids don't work. If they do, they're working at their daddy's law firm or whatever, But yeah. And then the other thing, I mean, I sent you this literally right before the show. I sent you a clip of them basically showing the document that the Attorney General's office made up the day before Jeffrey Epstein was killed about his death. Which he's not dead, man. He's on a freaking island.
I've never really thought that he was dead.
Yeah,
I just watched something today, and I'll put a link in the description. And it's a YouTuber who is she's a mortician, and she was dissecting the supposed photo that went out of him laying there, and she was.
I think I've seen that video.
And clinically destroying the argument for that being a dead person. The color, the complexion, the moisture under the nose, the lack of settling of any fluids, the fullness of the face, like just everything about it.
So
the fact that his mouth was closed and that his eyes were closed.
He was dead.
Yes.
Gotcha. Well, that could easily be. Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, I don't know if you heard about this, but apparently somebody, they found records of somebody logging into Fortnite, a video game, using his login credentials, like in 2023. Now that, of course, there are plenty of logical explanations for how something like that could happen. The man could be hacked. Somebody could have literally changed, because this was after the release of the files anyway, or some of them. So the person that could have changed their name to be that name because they thought it was edgy or whatever. Somebody could have gotten a hold of his old, PS4, whatever he was using to play on it or whatever. So there are ways that could happen.
It is getting tougher, though. I mean,
but it is getting tougher, and it's how ruthless is that to think that he's just had a little facial reconstruction surgery playing Fortnite on a beach somewhere else or somewhere in Israel.
I think he just grew a beard. I've actually seen a picture of, I think it's an AI generated, but basically him with a beard, and it's like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, I've seen that picture too.
Yeah, I think he could pass if he just got a beard. Nobody would recognize him right off the bat. You have to kind of look at him like, is that Jeffrey Epstein?
Right. All he'd have to do is say, yeah, I get it all the time. Yeah, trust me, it sucks to look like that guy.
Yeah, he's definitely not dead. No way. All right, so anyway, one of the other things I wanted to talk about is we talked last episode, I think, about, and it was, who was it? How do you say that guy's name? Cenk? Cenk?
Cenk, I think.
Cenk?
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, so it was Cenk and Tucker. All right, so that's left and right coming together. I think I also just, I don't know if I sent it to you or not, but I also just watched today, I watched Jake Shields, and Jimmy Dore. Again, Jake Shields, self-professed right.
Yeah, you sent me that.
Level didn't disagree on anything at all. Now, I just watched two guys from what I would consider the other side kind of doing the same thing, and that would be Adam Carolla and Bill Maher. And they just did a podcast.
You wouldn't think those two would agree on much.
And they did. They agreed on just about everything. There was one little thing of contention that I thought they might flare up about, but Adam Carolla just kind of glazed over it and didn't confront Bill Maher on it. But otherwise, they did the same thing, like, oh, yeah, and they were right about a few things, but for most part, they were just like, you guys are fucking idiots. I'm sorry, but, but they're right about a lot of stuff. And here's the thing that really kind of impressed me. It's like, all right, these are two guys who make a living telling everybody else across the country how they should live. This is what you should do. From either the liberal side of Maher or the conservative side of Carolla, they're like, this is what you should do. This is how you should live. This is how you should run the government. Here's how the federal government should run, and this is how you should run your state. Meanwhile, they both live in California. And they both bitched about it for at least a good half hour about all the things wrong with California.
Right. Carolla's show, that's a pretty popular topic, and yet he does stay there.
Yeah, and do what about it? And to listen to their ideas about what to be done, and you're like, you guys are just completely morons. You have, and I mean, Adam Carolla has some some decent ideas about how to fix like some of the regulation stuff. Matter of fact, I actually think Adam Carolla could run for governor of California and fix some stuff. But he's also, like I said in the other episode, he's the idiot that like he loves the Koreans on the rooftops with rifles, but you put a couple of brothers up there, and then it's a problem. So Adam's not exactly all right with the, but yeah, I don't those two, and they're just so completely wrong about the whole Gaza thing, and they're just like, Jesus Christ, come on, man, they just their whole. And Bill Maher is such a makes such a big deal of straw man arguments being wrong or whatever, and then uses them all the time. And when they're trying to justify their Gaza, justifications, it's like, come on, man, you're doing this straw man thing that you rail against like every 5 seconds. You just did it again. It's crazy. But but I mean, it's weird that. You got these people that are self-prescribed left and right coming together on both sides of what I think are clearly the two different sides of, and I don't even know how to describe it. How would you describe those two different sides?
As a uniparty, there really aren't two different sides.
Well, there is though. Here's the thing. I mean, the guys on the side I think are correct, like the Jake Shields and the Dore and the Sank and the Tucker. They all seem to be concerned with the real problems. Us, 38 trillion, 39 now trillion dollars of debt, the fact that all the money's going out of the country and the currencies, all these other guys seem to be concerned more about Bad Bunny and Kid Rock. That's who I think are the bad guys. The guys that are all caught up in this whole, and truthfully, the one thing I thought they would clash about, which the ICE thing is, that's the one that Adam Carolla just kind of like, Bill Murray made a point and Adam Carolla just kind of changed the subject. He was like, he wasn't going to go there because I know he wants to stick up for ICE, but I think even he can see that they screwed up by shooting that guy in the back with an unarmed American citizen in the back. For no reason. Right. That's, I think even Adam Carolla can see that, I probably shouldn't argue. Probably shouldn't say I think that's a good idea.
Right. Considering his background in construction, too, you'd think he would have made more friends on the, amongst illegal workers and whatnot that were.
Well, here's the thing. He did. He even tells a story. This is so funny. He tells a story on Bill Maher about a black guy. Well, first of all, he has to make the big story about that him and his buddy were carpenters, both wanted to be firemen, but they couldn't because they were white. Okay, good point. Point taken.
I've heard that.
Absolutely not right. I agree. Not a good policy. And then he made a big thing about the fact that this black guy came and worked as a carpenter. I I forget why. So he made a reason why. I forget why. But anyway, then the fact that the black guy was from apparently a pretty rich family, and he had to like hang his tools on a Gucci belt. And it's like you're not making the point you think you are. You know, I don't know. There's something I wanted you to play or something last episode where I wanted you to say, do your famous quote. I don't think you realize what this word means. What is it?
Yeah, you keep using this word.
Yeah, I don't think you know what
Well, I'm about to have a doctor showdown in the morning. This should be entertaining.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, well, not really a showdown. I'm basically going to try to ask my general primary care doctor to do me a favor, and we'll see how this works out. I was at the pharmacy earlier today, and I tried to refill my Zenpep, the stuff that the GI guy, Kramer, gave me. And they go, oh, it's been deactivated. And then I realized I've waited too long to fill the script because now he doesn't have he closed his practice down, and he must have either passed away or, turned in his medical license or something like that. So now they won't fill it. So I got like a half a bottle of them left. So I see my primary tomorrow, and I'm going to try to talk him into writing the script for it. Otherwise, I got to find another GI doctor and go through all that crap. Not looking forward to it at all.
You might not have, that much, because I'm not sure. Well, I guess the primary can read the lab results and figure out your thyroid levels. I don't think you don't need a specialist for that, right?
No, I don't think so.
And you don't need anything like that at all. You get a constant dosage of whatever, right? You don't have to.
Yeah, I just take it when I eat. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't see you having that big of a problem.
I hope not.
But
we'll find out.
If you do, let me know, because when I go on my robbery spree I'll pick up Zenpax and Synthroid.
Exactly. Make sure you get some of that too.
Yeah.
Oh, something crazy happened to my niece on Super Bowl Sunday. So I don't want to use her name, and I don't want to name the name of the business, but she delivers pizzas for a local place down there. And she was leaving the store with pizzas to go put in the car to take out on delivery. As she's exiting the restaurant, the little store, some guy from the parking lot is coming in, and who's like flashing a wad of money and being real loud, and almost got in a fight with some guy in the parking lot or whatever. I'm guessing maybe he had a bunch of money on the game or something, or was hammered. Who knows? Anyway, they pass each other as she's leaving the door and he's going in the door. She goes out and gets in the car, and before she pulls away, she starts hearing screaming and stuff, and then she hears glass break. Looks up, the guy had gone in somehow. I don't know why. She wasn't in there to get the details on what caused this, but he got all pissed off, picked up a chair and chucked it through the plate glass window, 80s action movie style. Yeah, nice. Right through it. Then started to fight with the guy behind the counter and the guy who was cooking in the back. Now, the guy cooking in the back was the father-in-law of the guy behind the counter. He's like, this is an older guy, like 65, over 65, I don't know. And then another employee there, this was like a older woman that works there that Brookie calls Mama. And the guy comes out from behind the bar with a bat. The police get called. Somebody goes to the hospital with a busted hand. The guy that's caused everything, of course, gets arrested. And I was like, well, you won't forget this Super Bowl Sunday anytime soon.
See, now what
and then
somebody to do
true dedication, like Clerk style, after where they hung up this the tarp that said, I assure you we're open. They stayed open for business.
Nice.
Super Bowl Sunday, they're selling a lot of pizzas. So they just got some plywood to put up over the window.
Yeah, I imagine most of their business is probably delivery anyway.
Yeah, 99% for sure. I'm not even sure if there's a place in there to sit down and eat.
Yeah.
Barely room to swing a chair.
I know her, and I know she delivers pizza, but I couldn't tell you where she worked. I have no idea.
Barely room to swing a chair in there, but apparently just enough.
Yeah, I don't know, man. What is he? Did they figure? No explanation of what his deal was, huh? Was he on meth or something? Was he methed out?
Who knows?
Yeah,
she did send me I don't know how she got a hold of it, but today she sent me a screenshot, I guess, of his charges or something up on the tax or county collector records. And one of them was resisting without violence and resisting with violence. And then battery or aggravated battery on somebody 65 years of age or older. He racked up
that was a charge.
some nasty charges.
See, then that's a perfect example. Do we really need that law? I mean, isn't just battery enough? You have to have battery of over. I mean, battery's battery. Why does it matter if the guy?
Well, it's because it's considered more egregious to hurt somebody who is technically more defenseless.
Let the judge do that. That's the whole point of the judge, for the judge to go, all right, well, normally if you were just fighting with somebody your own age, I'd give you 5 years. But since it was an old guy, I'm going to give you. I mean, why can't we let the discretion of judges work anymore? It's like, I don't know. The whole thing is just they're making too many laws of stuff that we already have laws for, in my opinion. But anyway. But justice was done in this. This is actually a crime where there were actual victims, and the guy went to jail.
There were actual victims, and then by the time the police got there, he was still there, so they were able to stop it and then take him away. So yeah.
Yeah, that's where it's
property damage as well as physical bodily harm.
Right. I mean, if I ran any kind of little business like that, I'd have something. I mean, at least a taser or something behind the counter. You can't just count on the nobody coming in there, and even if it's just a disgruntled customer, like your pizza sucks. Oh yeah,
right.
I don't know.
Well, I hate to do this in spite of all the technical difficulties that we've already endured, but mango, because I have to run to the bathroom real quick, and I'll be right back.
All right, and we're back. Well, let's let him put his headphones on. All right, now we're back.
And I'm back. Sorry about that. My back teeth were floating.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah, my drive home is going to be interesting. It's going to be solid. I mean, luckily I'm on the bike, but it'll be solid rush hour traffic, I'm sure. I might even just squirt over. As a matter of fact, last time I went home, I think I squirted over at least to Dixie at Atlantic or Woolbright or something like that, because just 95 was just getting too much.
I'm guessing at least the weather's good, though, since you're on the bike in the first place.
The weather is perfect, which is so weird. That first 5 days of February, man, woof, that was rough. It was rainy and nasty and cold. And I don't remember it being that nasty for that long. I mean, you'd get a couple of days, but not 5 days in a row of just.
No, and never below freezing.
Well, no, there's been, like I say, 1 or 2 days, but definitely not 5 days of Jesus Christ. What's going on? It's freezing. And actually,
it's pretty decent here today. It's up to 72.
Yeah, I mean, as long as the sun is out, it's not that bad. That's what happened really for those 5-6 days. Is it was cold as hell, and it was just cloudy, and there wasn't much sun at all. It was just nasty. Yeah, but it's gorgeous.
Still better than damn near everywhere else in the country, though. At least there was no ice or snow.
This is true.
Being cold is one thing, but falling down and busting your ass is never any fun.
Yep. This is definitely the time to be in Florida right now. Speaking of which, I don't know, somebody was just trying to tell. When BB was here, somebody was here trying to do some kind of deal with him. I forget who. I can't remember what it is now. Anyway.
So have you heard anything back from Nurse Becca? Did she have a good time?
Yes. Yeah. No, she kind of bailed on, so we can say it now, but she went to a big Jay Oakley show. A big Jay Oakerson.
Jay Oakerson.
Show. Yeah. And I told her I'd authorized her to make a lucrative cash offer as well as she actually would have made some money too if she could have landed him. But yeah, I guess she got tired after the show. And trust me, I as much as I'm disappointed, I mean, if I had to get up and work a day job, go home, make my guy a sandwich or whatever the hell she has to do, get ready for a show, go to the show, and then she says she went to go meet, get in line to do the meet and greet or whatever, and she said the line was like around the block, and she was like, that's it, I'm out. So, but I truthfully,
he's a popular guy.
Yeah, no shit. But I kind of I feel like that's going to be our method to get future, hilarious guests possibly, is just start going to these shows, going to the meet and greets and going, hey, how much it costs you to go on our podcast? And see what they say.
Again, with the shorts, man, there's no rhyme. I can't figure out the rhyme or reason as to which ones get popular and which ones get promoted and why.
Yeah.
So those two clips, the two clips that we put up of Trump talking about, Wang, for lack of a better term. The first one, which was the one about Arnold Palmer, that thing got 1,600 views just immediately. Second one literally has 9. like single digits, 9. And I even changed the title of it. I thought, well, maybe it's the title isn't catchy enough or something, you know? I can't factor it out. Hell, the one about giving nicotine gum to kids is doing better than that one. That's up to like 600.
That's true. You ruined my whole respect for you when you.
Oh, and I did, after we issued those retractions, I did go back and change the title of the Tyler Robinson to change it to Thomas Crooks. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that whole thing. It's funny. I was just. Oh, you know who John Kirikow is?
Yes.
He's that ex-CIA guy. He's pretty good. Although just earlier today, I was watching his podcast, and he and this guy he does a podcast with. We're pushing or I guess not pushing the narrative, but basically agreeing with the narrative that, Tyler Robinson, he must have just, and freaked out, and then like. There's no evidence that he did anything. I don't know how these guys are looking at this, especially Kirikow, who's a lawyer. I mean, he's a lawyer. Show me the evidence of anything that points to Tyler Robinson doing anything.
I have a hard time listening to or trusting any of those ex-agency guys. The worst is that Bustamante guy.
Oh yeah, he's definitely
that guy. With the crazy hair.
Yeah. He's definitely
I can't listen to him for more than a couple of seconds.
He's saying whatever he's getting paid to say. Yeah, I mean, and the same thing with the only thing that lends Kirikow an edge or an aspect of respectability is the fact that they did put him in jail. He did spend time in jail for revealing the torture stuff that they were doing down at Guantanamo. But other than that, I don't understand how he could. I mean, he seems to be so right on everything else. And then at the very end of his podcast, they were talking about it. He's like, I guess he just went nuts and shot. And I'm like, what? That's, which I guess that kind of is an indictment that it's the CIA. Because if he's saying it ain't, and it clearly is not Tyler Robinson, then I don't know. That, to me, points to CIA more than anything. Which, of course, that brings us to Erica Kirk, who clearly, it's all this, all the ties to the CIA, which are ties to Mossad, which, it's too. It goes back to my point. I don't think we've been in control of the government for quite some time. And
since Eisenhower.
Well, yeah. Well, I think even before that, I was just going to say, one of the things I think I left a message on is the fact that we seem to do a lot. Well, I mean, it depends who you ask, I guess, but we seem to, I think, fiscally and governmentally, anyways, did a lot better as a country before we became the world's police. Before we all of a sudden had to, export democracy everywhere and fight communism and socialism and all that stuff with our brand of democracy, yada, yada, yada. And that seemed to have appeared at around the same time as the Fed, right? 1917.
The Fed was what, 1913?
Well, yeah, and I think they started talking about 1917, 1918 is when they actually got implemented. Which reminds me, what year was Roosevelt president? Not FDR, the other one, Teddy.
Theodore.
Yeah, he was right around that time too, right?
Early, like very beginning of the 1900s.
Maybe I think it was before the Fed. He's the only actual president that was never elected. Well, he wasn't elected, and then, did he get reelected? Did he served like a term and a half, right? But he wasn't elected originally. He was vice president, and somebody got McKinley or somebody got killed. And then he became,
I believe so, and then he got elected.
And then he got elected, and then I think he ran again as a bull moose thing, and that's when he lost. I could be wrong about that, and I think the bull moose thing was against the Fed, but I could be wrong about that. But he was the one that famously, obviously said, was it, walk quietly but carry a big stick or whatever. I mean,
speak softly and carry a big stick. Yeah.
And that was his foreign policy, which sounds a lot like the Fed. Like that's kind of the way. Although they actually, that applies to them very well, actually.
Have you heard the theory or the supposition that we're like our foreign policy is returning to the Monroe Doctrine, and that we're going to concentrate on our own, basically on the Western Hemisphere, being North and South America, and that Putin is going to be allowed to have Europe, and that basically China is going to take Africa.
Yeah, I got no problem with that. That sounds good. As long as we
get a three-way split of power.
Well, yeah, as long as we get out of the Middle East, that sounds great. I mean, but the problem is, I mean, we've destroyed what we destroyed the Monroe Doctrine with the CIA and the drug war. That's why we lost control of South America. That's why, we've had so much problem in Southeast Asia and in Afghanistan, and it's all about drugs and power and money, and I don't know. But I'm fine with the Monroe Doctrine. Yeah, let's just concentrate on this continent now. This hemisphere. Forget all the rest of them. Stop funding the rest of them. And it's all these people that claim to be conservative and blah 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 blah. You're all the Republicans just voted to keep funding the Somalians in Minnesota. Like 60 or 80 Republicans voted. Yeah, no, we should just keep giving them money. It's like, stop giving away money we don't have. It's just not, it's that easy. I don't know. Seems easy. But, it seems like things are being revealed now to the general public that, at least to me, have been obvious since day one. I mean, literally, if you're today saying that you think they should have shot Renee Good or the Petrie guy, then you probably also were in '63 going, oh, absolutely, Lee Harvey Oswald is the only gun. Yeah, that was it. That's definitely the explanation. There should be no other no other questions. You're a communist for even questioning that that's not the absolute truth, that the way it absolutely happened.
Right, those kids at Kent State had it coming.
Yeah, it's just it's insane that, I mean, it seems completely obvious to me now, and to a lot more people. I mean, it seems the people that obviously were seeing it for decades were all marginalized and said, "Oh, you guys are conspiracy theories." Like, no, there's something. There's unanswered questions here. There's tons of unanswered questions of what the hell happened. There's actually a guy on, I think he was on Jimmy Dore the other day. I mean, even just recently, if you go back, like Thomas Crook, what the hell happened? What was that about? Guys that what was the guy that killed himself? The Clinton aide, that hung himself and then shot himself in the chest with a shotgun or something. And then they just move on. And like, wait a minute, there's a lot of questions there that are still, what the hell happened? How's it, there's just so much that people just gloss over and like, oh, I guess that's just the way it is. And it's like, wait a minute, that's been going on for too long. Somebody's got to actually start coming up with some answers. Like how.
It always also blows my mind when conspiracies that were from the past are revealed, and then people take the attitude of, well, we used to do stuff like that, but we don't, thank God we don't do that kind of stuff anymore. Like, why would you think we would ever stop?
Right. And, it's funny that, as they read all these allegations from the Epstein, files that are being released, oh, you wouldn't believe that this happened. And like, yeah, I'd believe it. That's exactly what I thought was happening. What did you guys think was happening there? I mean, what part of child rape and blackmail and extortion and power and laundering money, what part of that did you not understand? Of course, that's what they were doing. It's the whole thing is just and
it's also pretty naive to think that that was the only place and group of people that were doing that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, exactly.
Nope, we fixed the problem. We got the guy.
Yeah,
he was the global trafficker. Nobody else. He had no help, no assistance.
Which we know he isn't. Yeah, it would still be going on somewhere. But and here's I have to actually. I think I brought this point up before, but I actually have to. I have to wonder if democracy is possible, because there's just there has to be a collective intelligence or consciousness much higher than what we have, because we can't, everything that everybody bitches about, you voted for it. You can't bitch about any of this. You voted for it. So I don't know if democracy.
I mean, on a fundamental level, raw, pure democracy is really no different from mob rule.
Anarchy, it's pretty close. Yeah. And I'm all for that. I'm all for that. Get rid of the government, or at least invert it back to the way it was designed to be, where it's from the bottom up, not from the top down. That's at the very least what's got to happen. But to tell you the truth, if that doesn't happen, I think we got to go back to monarchy. And then the biggest problem there is, who do you pick for king? And even worse than that is, how do you figure out the ascension of power after say you pick the right king, pick the right guy that's, say we pick Thomas Massey to be king, all right. But then he's not going to live forever. Who are you going to get after that? I don't even know if he has.
Yeah,
any
the
kids.
Problem is that virtue doesn't tend to be inheritable,
Exactly,
not necessarily anyway.
The old method does definitely not work. We would have to figure out.
And yeah, you're right.
way.
If you can get your hands on an actual enlightened monarch, then you can accomplish quite a bit. The problem is that throughout history, most monarchs have not been very enlightened.
No, well, to tell you the truth, if you look at what's happening in the Saudi right now, in Saudi Arabia, BLM is an enlightened monarch. Now, you might not, I don't think he's a great guy. I don't think he's a very morally, but he might be getting better. I don't know. But he's definitely changing Saudi Arabia. He's bringing them into the the modern age as a monarch. His predecessors were definitely not doing that. They were still riding around in camels and shit, So he's definitely one of those enlightened monarchs at this very moment. But, of course, he's questionable. But I mean, if you're going to be a monarch, you're going to have to do questionable stuff. I mean, just like being, a leader. If got to go to war, somebody's going to die. You can't go, hey, I want my guys to go to war, but none of them are going to die. That's not going to happen. So I don't know. But yeah, and that's the thing. If you were to go back to monarchy, is to have to figure out some test of purity or consciousness or intelligence or something that is like unhackable, that's some way to plunge a sword into a stone or something
like the Turing test, but for morals.
What's the Turing test?
That's the test that it was made famous in the movie Blade Runner. That's the series of questions and tests that
okay.
Artificial intelligence has to prove itself real.
Right. If they watch your eye to see if it's why do they call it the Turing test?
I think it has something to do with a guy whose last name was Turing, which is the guy that helped break the Enigma code during World War II.
Oh, that's interesting.
I believe.
Reference for
I could be wrong.
Runner especially. That's such a great. They should make another Blade Runner. Actually, there's a couple of good movies out, I guess, that we should maybe try to see. I guess that Begonia might have been pretty good.
Right? The one with Stavi?
Is he in that? Oh, yeah, I think he is in that.
Yeah, he's in it.
I think he's only in it.
He plays a cop in it.
Yeah. And then another one that I heard some people that saw it said it wasn't that great, but I guess some people are touting that One Battle After Another or whatever, the DiCaprio movie. Somebody was saying it was very pathetic.
I know didn't they just release Christopher Nolan released the Odyssey?
Yeah, that just came out with Matt Damon. Yeah, but that's pretty predictable. I mean, you know what's going to happen there. That could just
that's a story. That's a pretty old story.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they've got their own interpretation. But
there's a movie coming out or is out that I can't remember the name of it, but it's got Sam Rockwell, I believe, as the star, and he looks like, I think he's some kind of time traveler or something. It looked kind of interesting.
Is that not the one? Something. Have fun, don't die.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that looks like it could be kind of interesting, but it looks like it kind of looks like a comic version of 13 Monkeys. Is that the one with Bruce Willis?
12 Monkeys.
12 Monkeys. Yeah. It looks like kind of a comic twist on a 12 monkey kind of a storyline where a guy comes from the future, but it's kind of ridiculous and more fast paced and less. I don't know. I'm just going by the trailers I've seen.
Right.
Yeah,
I like that guy as an actor, though.
Who's that?
Sam Rockwell.
Oh, yeah. Have you ever seen that weird movie he did? I don't know if it's an indie movie or if it's actually a studio movie, but he was like an astronaut on the moon, and he was like this worker dude that worked on the moon, and it turns out he was just a clone, and they just kept cloning him to be the worker on this thing, but it turns out the more and more they cloned him, the worse and worse he got, and like
I've seen parts of it.
Yeah, that's an interesting movie. And then he tries to get back to Earth and at the end, and yeah, that was a weird movie. He's in a couple of different weird movies like that.
It's like making a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy.
Yeah. And he didn't, he doesn't realize it. He just wakes up. He thinks he's just, the same guy all the time, and it's like, no, you're about the 50th clone. Yeah, no, that was a very strange movie. And there's another weird movie he was in. Of course, there's Jojo Rabbit. He was great in that. That was awesome. Did you know that actually, I think I saw something that suggested that his character in Jojo Rabbit was gay, and that's why and that's why he got kicked off the front or something like that?
Yeah. No, his character was absolutely gay.
I didn't pick up on that. My gaydar's usually pretty good. But, I mean, it's gay as like
granted, they were all walking around wearing a bunch of leather, but he was really into it.
That's true. Anyway. All right. Well, I don't know. How long we've been doing this a long time, seems like today. I don't know actually much time on film we have, but seems like I've been here for like 3 hours.
You have.
Yeah.
So I'm about ready to wrap this one up. How about you? You got anything else?
No, I'm kind of running low. I would like to point out that people can still call us at 904-549-9024.
And hopefully,
and next episode we'll have the messages back up and running. We'll be able to listen to our messages.
Right. We'll have to figure
even
out
if they are just from ourselves.
What the?
Yeah, I don't know.
And and that's what
I tell you one thing I know. I don't envy you your ride home.
It ain't that bad. It's nice out. I don't care. But this is what I don't understand about people putting all their faith in technology and AI and stuff like that. It's like, what happens if it don't work? There's so many things that people take for granted. It just doesn't work. Like how good's your crypto going to work if you can't have, if your Wi-Fi goes out, you can't get your crypto. What are you going to do? Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. So contemplate that while you call us at 904-549-9024, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.